Okay, imagine this. You rock up to work and one of your colleagues has been replaced by a perfect copy. Perfect in every way. Same voice, same quirks, even the same annoying habits you complain to HR about. But they don't seem to do anything. I'm talking about you, Donna. That doesn't sound too bad, right? Now imagine the copy is an alien life form with one goal: to erase you in the most gruesome way possible and take your place. Not so comforting anymore, is it? This nightmare scenario is the core of John Carpenter's The Thing, a 1982 masterpiece and one of the greatest horror films of all time. But here's the thing, pun fully intended, it's never really had a game that does it justice. Sure, there is the 2002 The Thing video game, and with its remaster set for a late 2024 release, it was a good attempt, but it leaned a little too heavy on action and scripted events. Then there is Among Us, which captures the paranoia of the movie, but trades in terror for friendship-ending fun. So where's the real survival horror game this franchise deserves? And that's what we're here to fix today. We are going to design the perfect The Thing video game. Let's dive in. Setting is everything in horror. The 1982 film thrived in its remote Antarctic research station, a place where the isolation bred paranoia. The feeling of being isolated adds a sense of dread and helplessness that more recent horror games like Still Wakes the Deep, Alien Isolation, and the first half of Resident Evil 7 did perfectly. The how we'll get into a little later, but the game takes place on an oil tanker, stranded far out in freezing stormy waters. Think narrow creaking hallways, dim lighting, and cold outdoor sections that feel just as deadly as the thing itself. Why an oil tanker? A very underrated gem, the 2005 survival horror game Cold Fear, used this setting and it was fantastic. Side note, give us a bloody remaster of that already. But a ship is just a ship. Let's add a dynamic weather system. Imagine blizzards that reduce visibility to near zero, gale force winds and monstrous waves that have the ability to take you out. And just when you think it's safe to explore, the environment itself turns against you. This isn't just about scares, it's about immersion. The ship becomes a character in itself, fighting against you at every turn. Survival horror isn't just about fighting monsters. It's about surviving when everything feels stacked against you. So let's add mechanics that crank up the tension. Firstly, resource management. Food and supplies are limited, forcing you to ration for survival. Weapons, even scarcer. It is an oil tanker after all. You'll need to choose whether to fight or whether to run. Secondly, body temperature. Spend too long outside in the freezing cold and your health starts to drop. You'll need to find heated areas to recover, but what if those areas aren't safe? And here's the kicker, permadeath and injury mechanics. Imagine surviving an encounter with the thing, only to come away with a limp or blurry vision. Now every step, every action becomes more dangerous going forward. And if you die, death is only the beginning. If you are unfortunate enough to succumb to our assimilating friend, you are now infected, changing the gameplay completely. Instead of trying to survive the voyage as a human, you're surviving as a copy, now focused on infecting other survivors and making it to the mainland. Now this is where the magic happens. The heart of the thing is paranoia, never knowing who to trust. AI-controlled teammates, each with their own quirks and personalities. One or more of them is infected, but who? To keep things fresh, the infected are randomized every playthrough. To ramp up the tension, we implement a trust meter. Your actions, like wrongful accusations or reckless behavior, affect how much the crew trusts you. Push them too far and they might lock you up, or start thinking that you are the enemy who needs taking out. It becomes a balancing act. We also need to add subtle behavior cues. Maybe someone avoids eye contact or skips meals. Are they infected or are they just scared? You won't know for sure. And let's add an interrogation system, similar to that of LA Noire. You could question NPCs and analyze their reactions, but tread carefully, a false accusation could lead to disaster. This constant push and pull of trust and suspicion, that is the core of the game. The thing needs to be as unpredictable in the game as it was in the movie. Its AI should mimic human behavior so well that you'll never feel safe. Here's how it works. Transformations, you might stumble across the thing while it's mid-assimilation. Do you attack? Do you run? Its reaction should vary. It might split into smaller parts to escape, or go full attack mode to fight back. Clues and hints. Subtle signs like bloodstains or missing supplies might hint at infection, but nothing too obvious. It's all about keeping you on edge. The thing should adapt to players' actions. If you're cautious, it will wait. If you're reckless, it takes advantage and strikes. Puzzles and exploration aren't just filler. They're opportunities to build tension and tell a deeper story. We can implement lockdown scenarios. A power outage leaves a section of the ship in darkness or without heat. You'll need to repair the generator, but what's hiding in the shadows? We'll also have teamwork puzzles. Some things are a two-man job. You may need to take someone with you, but what if an NPC doesn't trust you? They might refuse to help. Now what? Or maybe that one person who is eager to come with you wants to get you alone for a reason. Exploration should reward players with hidden documents and journals. These could reveal backstories, give you clues, or even unlock new interrogation questions. Sound and visuals are everything in horror. Forget music entirely during gameplay. Your soundtrack should be the creak of the ship, the howl of the wind, and the eerie silence of being alone. It will make hearing nearby footsteps all the more butt-clenching, or a scream in the distance to let you know the odds are turning on you. Flickering bulbs, shadows that play tricks on your mind, and safe zones that feel warm and comforting, until they're not. A ship is claustrophobic normally, but adding all these little imperfections add to the immersion. Every detail should make you feel like the ship is alive and it wants you gone. So we start the game with you on the ship in all its normality, performing basic tasks and getting to build up some character depth with the others on board. You get a distress call for a rescue. It's MacReady. He is picked up and he is not alone. I don't want to touch existing canon as the film is chef's kiss. He isn't the thing. Instead, a tiny piece survives its final battle with MacReady and remains hidden on him. Too small and weak to infect a human-sized host, it gets on board, it separates from MacReady, and begins assimilating smaller life forms such as insects, rats, and livestock to build up its mass. MacReady explains the hell he had just escaped from. Your crew, thinking he is insane and potentially murdered his colleagues, lock him up for their safety. The ship's task is done anyways, so you are starting the long voyage home to the mainland. He can be dealt with there. But the thing has been gaining momentum and is now ready for something more human-sized. As the infection starts, you soon to realize that MacReady was telling the truth. His paranoia is still peaking, so he ensures his prison is now his safe room. He can now act as almost a guide to the player, providing lore on the creature, advising on subtle hints the infected may display, and also giving advice on how to repair a broken helicopter on the ship's helipad to try and organise an escape. The game can have multiple endings, successfully rebuilding the chopper and escaping with MacReady while destroying the ship and its inhabitants. Now this would result in potentially killing other survivors, so you can make a choice on who to take with you, but could you also be bringing the thing on your escape? You could choose to not escape via helicopter and eradicate the thing completely from the ship, sparing all the human survivors. Or maybe you missed an infected and just sealed humankind's end. Or you were infected, surviving the trip by playing it safe and infecting others as you go, where you are the catalyst of mankind's end. Each choice adds weight, replayability, and the lingering question, did I do the right thing? This is the thing game that we need. It's not just about scares, it's about immersion, tension, and making every decision matter. Much like the later part of Jaws, it is about the social aspect of human nature, how people communicate, how they react when confronted by the unknown, or how they try to save themselves when facing imminent death. The Alien franchise didn't get its true horror game until Alien Isolation. Now it's time for the thing to step into the spotlight. So, what do you think? Could this concept work? And what other movies do you think deserve the full video game treatment? Let me know in the comments. I am Kryptonite, thank you for watching, and remember, trust no one.